Caught in a rat race? Take a step back and pause. Pause for life. We are constantly running fast and try to get ahead of each other. In the process, we are consuming fast all the resources of energy present within our mind, soul, body, and also present on this earth. We are exploring possibilities of life on other planets. These mindless consumption patterns are leading us nowhere, instead making us more and more restless. Take a pause. Take a pause to stare at everyday natural events. Blooming of a flower from bud. Birds flying in the sky. All around us, nature is turning, growing, and working. Every moment, magical transformations happen right in front of us. But we do not want to waste time and refuse to slow down. Take a pause, just long enough for you to watch these natural events unfold. We desperately try to leave the present moment by thinking, doing, talking, worrying, etc. In fact, there is no certainty in the future. The only certain thing is this moment. So take a pause and be in the moment. Pause is required to sail through any and every circumstances, no matter how difficult. It allows us to persevere. Just be warmed by the contentment of being alive in this beautiful nature. Just not make things worse if facing a difficult situation. Do the work. Don't overanalyze. We are overloaded, overwhelmed, and distracted. It is in our own minds. Try to achieve a void. We have example of world famous scientist Stephen Hawking, who is best known for his work on black holes and his research on the theory of relativity and quantum physics. Hawking was only 21 when he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and doctors gave him only 2.5 years to live. But Hawking was young and ambitious, and the disease could not stop him from pursuing his dreams. Hawking continued live and work till 76 years of age. Despite being paralyzed for most of his life, he came up with his theory of black holes and also developed a mathematical model based on Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity. Hawking published 2 bestsellers. One was A Brief History of Time and other was The Universe is a Nutshell. Thus, you need to pause and reflect upon your true purpose in life. A purpose in life can defy severest of the diseases and disability. So take a pause and reflect. Pause for prosperity. Pause to take inspiration and generate fresh ideas. The famous scientist Sir Isaac Newton came up with the idea of gravity when he took pause and was just sitting under an apple tree, watching how apples always fall straight to the ground and never go sideways or upwards. It was the time when Cambridge was closed due to the Great Plague, and Newton returned to Woolsthorpe, spending his time thinking and conducting small experiments. This pause must have helped him with the idea of invisible force that pulls objects towards each other. Therefore, sometimes you pause and just sit down, and you may feel like you are wasting time. But you really need to just sit down and observe things. So just pause and observe things around you. Superior performance requires clarity of mind, consistent focus, and attention to details, apart from more work. This will be possible when you pause for a while, step back, and reflect. So, when everyone else is restless, scared, and desperate, we will be virtuous and still. Our best and most lasting work comes from when we take things slow, when we pause and reflect. This is because the pause has power of precision, the power of the void. In 1928, Alexander Fleming noticed that a mold had started to grow on the plate while he was studying influenza. He noticed that the germs were killed by the same mold. It was the discovery of penicillin, which was a breakthrough in the field of science as it could cure many diseases. If Fleming had not paused to notice the growth of that mold, today we would have easily died by common infections. Fleming's development of penicillin continues to save millions of people around the world. So pause, take a pause in your work and pay attention to details. Just pause to reflect what you are doing, what is the purpose of doing that. Take a pause. In order to live a productive life, conservation of energy is essential so that it could be channelized properly and never burn out. There is a need to maintain balance between work and creative leisure so that you never snuff out the spark of joy that makes life worth living. The great scientist Albert Einstein was offered the job of a clerk in the beginning, which he took at that time, but he continued to persevere in doing what he loved to do, that is, working on his own scientific ideas, and later became professor and a great scientist. If he had remained preoccupied in the drudgery of daily life, the world would have been deprived of many important discoveries and the theory of relativity. After Einstein died, Thomas Harvey, the doctor who examined his body, discovered that the mathematical thinking part of Einstein's brain was 15% larger than the normal. Thus, you need to pause and reflect regarding your true potential, your purpose in life. So pause and reflect. Pause for healing. Pause and pray. Whatever is your religion and faith, just pause and pray. Pray to that supreme power. Pray for the well-being of all life on this earth. Pray that there be no suffering. You need to pause and pray in order to survive and thrive in any adverse condition or environment. Stillness allows us to persevere and sail through any and every difficulty. Even during pleasant times, one must not forget to pause and pray with a heart filled with gratitude. The legend Rabindranath Tagore faced the death of his loved ones consecutively in his young age. Rabindranath's sister-in-law, who was very close to him, died in 1883. Then he faced with early death of his wife in 1902, followed by the death of his daughter in 1903, his father in 1905, and later his young son in 1907. All the devastating losses he faced led to simplicity and clarity in his writings as a poet and writer. His works were like a devotee's offering to the Almighty. Further, he came in close contact with the peasants of rural Bengal. Their abject poverty and helplessness filled him with deep concern for their welfare, which reflected in his poetry as well. In 1912, his poems caused a stir in England and published as Gitanjali. Rabindranath went on to win the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. He was the first Asian to be awarded this honor. Pause and accept a higher power, higher than you, higher than people who are troubling you, higher than your problem, your circumstances. It's about surrender and having faith. It is to let go at the deep soul level. Instead of false urgency of trivial problems, pause and pray gives you a sense of connectedness and compassion for everyone and everything. The ocean, even when waves are crashing on the surface, in depth is calm and composed. The point is that there is both suffering and joy in life. But to develop a profound, indomitable self that is not affected by these waves. Pause and pray is the secret art through which we infuse our lives with the inherent power of the universe. And that is the greatest power we have. Thank you. Thank you for watching.